What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Geek Nerdy, and I'm back. I know it's been a minute, it's been a while actually, and I really gave up on myself, to be totally honest. I probably could have done a lot more than what I did in the past, created a lot more videos, created a lot more content, but I didn't, and I stopped, kind of gave up, but I'm back. I have drive now, happy in a way now. But I'm back and I'm gonna make some content for you all. And I want you all to watch. And I want you all to comment. I want you all to subscribe. I want you all to give me feedback because today my topic is Shadow Child. It's something that I made up in my head, but it's something that I've seen with children, with families with multiple children. There's always that one child that becomes like a shadow child. They're generally probably a younger child. They strive to make their parents happy. They strive to get good grades, and a lot of people may call them, that one child that sucks up, but they're not really sucking up. They're just being average. They're making their grades, good grades, A's and B's. They're not getting in trouble. You don't really have many issues with them and their teachers or anything like that. But sometimes you have that one child that I consider the shadow child, because just like your shadow follows you all the time, and you become content with knowing that your shadow will be there. And so I believe that a lot of parents become content with their shadow child, knowing that, oh, well, you'll make good grades, or oh, you'll do this, or oh, if I ask you to, I know this one will, because that's the child that they've come to terms with, that will always be the one to do something that they ask, make the grades that they want them to make. It's weird though, because to me, I would consider myself the shadow child of my family. But it's like you become, I don't know, background to your other siblings, and I wouldn't say background, but you would feel like it's background because your parents are content with the grades you make, the things you do, because you're not bad. You get in trouble sometimes, but it's not as much as other kids, or you make a bad grade every now and then, but it's not as often as the other kids. A shadow child is real weird, because sometimes a shadow child, just like a parent can become content with their child, I feel like their child can become content with being the shadow. And I think a lot of parents don't pay attention to the fact that you're supposed to inspire all your kids. You're supposed to make all your kids want to achieve, want to grow, want to become better. Not just make the grades that you expect them to make, or be that child that you can lean on when you need assistance with this, or you need help with that, or whatever. You're supposed to also be, because to me, a parent is never supposed to be content, as well as the child. But a child doesn't know what content is until they become older and they've seen that they become content with their situation. Because to me, I've become content with my situation. And not until recently I didn't notice that, because I always knew that I would have my mother there to back me up. I always knew that because, I could achieve the grades that I wanted to, that I could do like almost whatever I wanted to in a certain type of format. Because when you make good grades and all this stuff like that, you never really get a full blown punishment. I would call it, like when your parents punish the other kids or something like that. They don't really punish you as much because they know that, oh, he'll get back on track, or it was probably just a mistake, or blah 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 blah. And I eventually noticed these things, and I mean sometimes it was a mistake, but then other times it was like, no, I did it on purpose. I just knew I could get away with it, and that's becoming content to me. Because if I know I can get away with something because someone else knows that I'll fix it later on, or I'll do better the next time around, that's content to me. And that's not a good thing. That's bad. Just like with your parents being content with you making, oh, he's making good grades, he's doing this, he's doing that. But then it's like you're making good grades and all those things and stuff because you don't really have to focus. It was easy for me to make good grades because it wasn't hard. Being good wasn't hard for me because I was the baby, so I was almost always good because I had no choice. I was the one that was always around the adults because my siblings were older than me, so they were hanging out with friends their age or cousins their age or whatever. I was always with my mom, my dad, aunts, uncles, with my dad's friends or my mom's friends or something like that. So I never really had to worry about anything. But now, as I get older, I see that part of my depression has come from being a shadow child. The fact that I was young and not worrying about things, and oh, I'll do it when I get to it, or eventually. I mean, even with YouTube, I did the same thing. Eventually, maybe this time, I know, I got plenty of ideas. Let me write this down. Never get to it. Never do it because I was content, and I'm not anymore because I've realized that all those years of being content just kept me back. They held me back. I'm still behind in life. To me, I'm behind in life, in my life, because I chose to be content. I didn't choose to further my life in a way that I should have, but now I want to focus. I want to get back on my YouTube grind. I want to learn stuff. I already applied for school for the fall. I'm trying to get back in school. I got to write an appeal letter because I was on academic suspension before I left school. So I have to write an appeal letter. I mean, I have to do all this extra stuff now because I was content and unfocused as a child. And that led into my adulthood. And now I'm 30, trying to go back to school, trying to educate myself more, trying to grow myself more. And I'm proud of that, to be totally honest. Being a shadow child is a terrible thing if you get lost in it. If you get lost in that content. I was lost in that content for years. I'm no longer lost in that content. I don't want to be content. I want to strive. I want goals. I want better. But I also posed this question to one of my friends. Hey, Adrian, thank you for being there for me and helping me. I mean, you've always done it. But I proposed this question to him, and he was like, "Shadow child." He told me he was thinking shadow child. Like, where's he going with this? Like, what does he mean about shadow child? And I told him that a shadow is something you become content with. And sometimes you have that one child that, well, parents have that one child that they become content with. And so they no longer worry about that child because that's their shadow. And he was like, there's two sides to that shadow. And this is where I got being content from. He said there's two sides to that shadow. Sometimes you have that deadbeat child that doesn't mind being the shadow, that becomes content. I consider myself that deadbeat child. That's fine. But I'm over that. And then he said the other side is the overbearing parent. Or the parent that is content in knowing that you'll do as they say. I mean, your shadow will do as you say, and then you if you find that child or that person that will do as you say, which I've noticed that people love dogs because most dogs do as you say. And I no longer want to be that child that do as you say. I want to grow. I want to focus on what I want to focus on. Like when I was trying to go to college when I graduated, to the Navy when I graduated school early. I graduated school a year early and I wanted to go to the Navy. Or take a year off just to figure out what I wanted to do. And I'm not calling my mother the overbearing parent, but she had someone speak to me about the Navy and about the issues and things that could happen and all this and that. And then she also told me that if you stay out of school, you'll forget. You won't focus when you go back. And the worst thing about that is that I, as the child, chose not to go to the Navy for after high school. And I, as the child, chose to continue on to college knowing that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was a terrible mistake for me because the first semester I was going for psychology. It was easy, it was a breeze. I was doing basic stuff and then learning child development. I mean, it's not hard, but it was boring. And so I let that dream go. I moved forward, but I only moved forward because my friends were already, best friend and cousin, which we all, were in school together and all this stuff. And so one of my best friends was going for medical office management. And so I did the same thing. I was already kind of in the medical field because I was doing CNA work. My oldest sister does CNA work. My second oldest sister, she's a nurse. And then my mom said she's always taking care of people. So I know it's in my blood. I know it's something that runs deep in our family is to take care of people. But I realized after doing all that I made a mistake. And it was too late to fix that mistake. I had wrote an appeal letter for my academic probation. It got rejected. And so, the first semester I made good grades. Second semester, I got put on academic probation because I was just playing around. Then third semester, I just didn't even go. I didn't go at all. Because I wasn't in the right headspace. And so now, I feel more focused. I feel more driven. And I no longer want to be the shadow child. And I no longer want other people not to see that they're the shadow child before it's too late. Because when you become complacent with things and content with things, it never leads to a good thing. It never leads to a good thing. Never. Never. But my friend Adrian, he said, he asked me, how long can you be a shadow child? I said, until you die. I said, you can be a shadow child until you die, because if you never wake up and realize that you're that child that's content, or a person, just put it like that, you're that person that's content in being that shadow child. No, that's not a good thing. It's very bad. But I want to pose the question to you all. Do you feel like you're the shadow child? Or do you see like other shadow children? Do you feel like one of your siblings is the shadow child? Or is this something that's already out there? Like, I know it's like a middle child syndrome or something. I think I heard of a while ago, but I don't know if there's a shadow child type syndrome or whatever, or diagnosis or study. So let me know in the comments. Is there a shadow child? Are you the shadow child? I know I am. But to me, I thought about it long and hard, because there may be other kids that feel like they're the shadow child, while you're sitting there feeling like you're the shadow child. You may have a sister or a brother that feels like they're the shadow child, and you never knew that. You never knew that they didn't have expectations of themselves because they got happy with being content. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know. Like, if you get where I'm coming from. Subscribe if you want to think more with me. Or, I don't know, later on down the road, I feel like I want to get back to doing reviews. And I'm just happy. Thank whoever watched. Thank you.